Morning, morning. How are we all doing? All good? Oh, sorry, one sec. Why did that not trade? So I was just taking along on the DAX on my funded account. I'm just trying to speculative long this morning quickly before the market opens. I've got a feeling today we're going to get a bit of buying. We've had a big, we've been dropping and dropping and dropping, and we've gapped down a little bit today, which sort of has been filled. But yeah, I don't. I just get a feeling. Sorry, that's not even the DAX. I was looking at it thinking, hang on, where's the gap? We've gapped down today. It kind of had a run on the fill, and when we get gapped down, sometimes the low before the close acts as the gap fill. Sometimes it doesn't, and it's kind of pushed up from the gap open to there. And I'm not sure on it, but we've pushed down at the pre-market open. But I just got a feeling today we are going to get a bit of a rally. Not necessarily a bull day, but I think we're going to get a rally. It's just the market is so unbelievably weak. So what I've done is I've taken along with a smaller position with a stop underneath the daily low from yesterday. I might take it on this account as well, actually, just to show you what I'm doing. Yeah, let's go 500 just to be safe. So just taking a pre-market buy, stop below yesterday's low, because I think there's a chance we might come down and retest that low. But I'm just looking for a bounce, basically. I got a feeling the market is going to think everything's super cheap at the moment and start buying up, because obviously this drop is substantial at the moment, but we'll see. Anywho, it's just a speculative pre-market, it's a flip a coin job, but if it works, it'll be a really nice trade because we've got a good rally today. We've got a lovely propulsion gap. It's not really a propulsion gap, really. That is the propulsion gap there. That's the one. After the accumulation, we've got a chance, I think, of running up back into this area at least. So a decent upside movement, even if the bears step in and drive the market back down again today. There's room for bounce. So yes, morning, VJ, Stevie, Themba, Alan, Jane, hello. So overnight news wasn't a lot. Aussie retail came out positive. We had a bit of a spike on the Aussie, bit of movement on Aussie and New Zealand, but nothing dramatic. Nothing's really changed. It was 1.3 was the previous figure, so vastly positive. They were forecasting a drop. The drop still happened, but it wasn't quite as big of a drop as they thought by 0.2%. So although it was slightly better than expected news, it was still negative news because retail sales weren't as good. So it's just, nothing really news-wise. Nothing else overnight that I could see that was of any impact whatsoever. A bit of news coming out of the Bank of Japan, just rumblings. We're not going to find anything else for Friday on that. So not much point in analysing that because they're going to make their move the weekend. Today we got nothing. We got Lagarde speaking in 15 minutes, and then this afternoon we've got home sales. That's it. So pending home sales is not the one that has any impact on monetary policy. It's building permits, which are the big one, because that is people getting authorization to build new houses. So that's what we tend to get most of the impact off of, not off of the pending home sales. Excuse me. So no news today again. And then we just got CAD GDP tomorrow to look forward to. But that's it. So very light news day again today. So we could have, the market can do what the hell it likes today, really. We'll see. There's a couple of ADRs. Sorry, one sec. I'm just placing a pending order above the highs as well. I'm placing a pending above the high of the day here, and I've got a pending set here as well to add into that position if it works. If it obviously if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it works, I'm just going to add into it. Just adjusting those a little bit. ADRs overnight, Aussie, New Zealand. So obviously the news in Australia, we had a little bit of movement there. So we got a spike up. I got out my Aussie, New Zealands yesterday. I posted in the Telegram group. The ADR reversal yesterday played out absolutely beautifully. It was a lovely move yesterday on that. So got out of that one. And then obviously it's slammed up into ADR this morning, which is great. But yeah, and it's come back down again. So you can see the impact of that news was, woohoo, oh, actually, yeah, it doesn't really mean anything at all. So no real impact there whatsoever. The other one we've got is New Zealand dollar CAD, which again, opposite. We had New Zealand coming down on the news and pushing back up again. But obviously that is a bear market, so we don't want to be looking really for longs in it. And the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is a bull, so we don't really want to be looking for shorts. Although they played out, you wouldn't have really got into them. It was a new spike, so there was no reversal alert until obviously down there, which is way after the move's gone. So it's just one of those nasty spiky ones overnight. Nothing particularly exciting there. Just coming down at the moment on DAX. So we're just taking these lows out at the moment from yesterday. So let's see if they hold. Why is my DAX feed frozen on my other platform? Oh, no, it's not. That's right. It's me. Okay, so pound as well. I've got a pound US dollar short on, which is in profit. That's coming down very, very nicely at the moment. The pound has still got quite a way to run. Come back down and retest these lows, which is where I think we're coming. And then obviously from there, heading down to parity at 1. So I've still got those two shorts on there. I've got another short, which I'm adding to as we break down below this area here. So looking to scale out of some there, and obviously then the rest will be held down to the bottom. Market's just opened. So let's have a see where we go this morning. Very weak open at the moment. Not a lot of movement at all. Blimey, there's a weak open. I just want to check the stream quality as well this morning. Some people were saying it was blurry yesterday for some of it. That looks a lot crisper, doesn't it? I've changed some settings basically. So hopefully that we will not get that blurriness. There's a few tweaks I looked up that would hopefully help. So, okay, starting to push. I'm taking small risk on this because obviously it's a speculative position, just literally on a hunch that we're going to get a bull day based off of the recent price action. So there's no price action to tell me to go long. It's just obviously going on previous price action being so bearish and just do some kind of bounce, at least back up. You can see easily on the 4-hour chart what I'm targeting here. Yeah. It's targeting a pullback. You know, one of these, just to pull back into this area today. We might end up with a bull day, but you know, thought we were going to end up with a bull day yesterday. That didn't happen. Outside bar yesterday. And quite often on an outside bar, if you buy an outside bar at the open, you'll quite often get a pullback. They quite often pull back into outside bar, exactly like happened the day before. Look, yeah. So pull back into the outside bar, and then where it goes from the pullback is irrelevant because you're putting back into selling pressure, which is on H4. What you're doing is you're buying into the sell orders, which are all sitting in the propulsion gaps. So that's the plan anyway. Your screens are usually blurry at my end, but occasionally it flickers and then it clears for a few minutes. Yeah, it's a stream. Basically, I've adjusted my stream settings. The bit rate, basically, that they suggest that you stream at on YouTube is 2300, so 23 meg. The problem with that is your upload speed. Mine's 35 to 40 meg, somewhere around there, which is way more than I need. But what they actually recommend on this video is streaming at 13 megabytes per second, which is the maximum normally for 1440p video. So I've reset there's this thing called the, I can't remember what it's called on YouTube. There's a setting on YouTube which you can basically change for your stream to say, I only want to output at 1440 and I only want to output at 13 meg, and it will stabilize your stream. So the quality is ever so slightly lower than a high quality stream, but it is stable. So that's what I've done. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a bit hit and miss, you know. So I think it's to do with my upload speed and the fact that I was using YouTube's recommended, but obviously YouTube recommends you've got 1 gigabit connection, I guess, and I haven't. So there you go. So nice push so far. I'm just going to bring a stop up on that, just reducing risk. Just in case, this is just basically initial opening balance going in before they start to sell again today. So we'll see. So a quick look at what the US is doing. So there's your opening range in. Nice bullish engulfing on the NAS. S&P and Dow, very strong open across the board. So this this high is a potential selling point for the US indices. So we may find we get some sector selling up at that area. And that's the official gap fill there, 12062. So I wouldn't want to look to get too much higher than 121.58. Which is that low. Holding up at the moment. Morning, Burke. Okay, it's holding up at the moment. So see if we can get a wick test off of this wick pre-market. We slammed through that. So obviously if that wick doesn't get tested, we're going to get a propulsion gap there. which means there's buyers sitting there defending that level. So if we can get that wick tested and then pull away from there, we've got plenty of buyers on board to propel us upwards. But as I say, this is just a very speculative move. So here's the wick test. No. Doesn't look like it's going to hold. Yeah, we'll have a look at the pound in a minute. Pound US dollar, all the pound pairs sideways yesterday. Market's not confident whatsoever. I think we're going to have a bear day today after what the IMF said overnight. IMF basically condemning, if the International Monetary Fund, there's 190 countries involved in the IMF. If the IMF is told the UK, you've buggered it, we buggered it. So hopefully the government will listen, but there's nothing that is going to stabilise the pound at the moment. So I stopped out on that. Okay, so just adding a couple of speculative longs in. So stopped out of that initial position. There's only a tiny micro loss on that. But looking to get in on a break of the opening range today and going to add up the top and then see if we can get a move up into this area here. Just move that TP down. So yeah, we'll see if that plays out, but heavy again this morning. Very heavy. We'll come back to that. Right. So yeah, pound overnight, we had mainly sideways movement yesterday. So obviously the market yesterday didn't go anywhere. We just basically opened up and went sideways for the entire day. Little bit of a push up this morning on some of the pound pairs. Pound US, however, coming down at the moment. What's that? Not drawn Wednesday in properly, is it? For some reason. Let me just flip that over. There we go. It's Wednesday. So yeah, nice drop on pound US. So a little bit of US dollar strength coming in. Don't think we're going to get bullish price action today. But again, I'm not sure that we're going to get bearish price action either. It all really depends today on what the US dollar does on this one. But as I say, I'm targeting these lows and obviously targeting parity. Whether or not they're going to have the strength to push it back up again before that happens, I don't know. If we push up above there, I'm getting out because I think we're probably going to get a decent move out of it. But the IMF basically came out overnight and said that the monetary policy, the fiscal policy that's been put in place last week on Friday, which caused obviously this initial move and then the collapse on Monday, is not what is needed to stimulate the economy. Virtually every economist in the UK, bar a handful, is saying the same thing. Obviously, the Labour government, the opposition, are saying obviously the same thing. And for the IMF to come out and say that, the International Monetary Fund, who have also bailed out our government before when this sort of thing has happened, means that the banking sector is completely right to be worried about this, and there is no going up for the pound. So unless they come out in the next couple of days and say something either to completely reverse it, scrap it and say, sorry, we've cocked it up. But if they do that, we've lost all faith in the government and there'll be an election, which they're probably not going to do. The pound is coming down. So it's just a case of when. And again, we come back to this timing thing. We can't time the market. So I'm in short with a fairly decent stop on it. I've got 1.5 ADR stop from where we are right now. And it's just a speculative short to get down to parity. So, taking some off down there where we are and taking some more off down when we get down to the bottom there, and it'd be a very nice little trade if it works out. But it's very difficult to tell what's going to happen. The Bank of England have said that they're potentially going to intervene. All of the mortgage companies, virtually all the mortgage companies in the UK, have pulled all their mortgage products yesterday. Everybody that's had a mortgage approved, ready to move house, has had all their mortgages taken away from them, because the mortgage companies can't turn around now and go, we can't. We can carry on with that mortgage at 3.4%, when they know damn well it's going to be costing 6% to do it. So the new mortgage products will all be coming out. Everybody's mortgages in the UK on average will go up by between £400 to £600 when they come down to remortgage. Of course, if you haven't got that spare, you can't afford it. You need to go to your boss for a pay rise. Your boss can't afford a pay rise because the economy is crashing, retail sales are going down, so they haven't got any money to give you one. Cost of living is going up. It's just an absolute crap show at the moment. So it's just not going to happen unless they do something. So the Bank of England's options are either wait until November and do the rate increase, which I don't think they will do. I think we will come out with a rate increase before that, potentially in the next couple of weeks, an emergency increase, could be even the next couple of days, we don't know. But whatever they do, they've got to put up interest rates to at least somewhere between 4.5% to 5.5%, maybe 6% within the next couple of months. That's really what this is calling for. And obviously we've got the government and the bank pulling against each other at the moment. So very difficult to tell what's going to happen, but it's very, very hard to look at any way to buy the pound. Obviously, when something is forecast to drop, it doesn't just go like that. This is an abnormal 2-day drop. What will normally happen is what we see generally, which is this. Yeah. And during that, you will have upward movement. Yeah. So there's every chance we could get an upward movement from here. But there will be a point when we will get, a 4-hour candle, a massive bearish engulfing, which is basically, let's go. So you just need to be watching this and seeing what happens on a day-by-day basis at the moment. But I'm in short now. So, and all the other pounds as well, we're going to be in a very similar situation. You can see some of these recovering better than others. We've got weak New Zealand dollar, so the pound's managing to rally against that a little bit. Obviously, the yen, this is going to be a good one. When the yen kicks in on Friday, potentially, I'd like to get a position on that. Sideways. Obviously, the Aussies and Aussie and New Zealand with the overnight news are weak, so the pound's taking advantage of that. But it's not the pound taking advantage of anything; it's the Australian dollar being weak, isn't it? So, but yeah. So look at levels. So if we are going to get any kind of rally on the pound for any reason, we need to look at where. So you want to be selling highs, yeah, and you want to be selling resistance. So any kind of move 125 ADR on pound odd, log it. Because the sellers basically think what the banks have done here, yeah? On pound odds, for example, here, that is where the move started from. So the banks, institutions, everybody in their other halves started selling there, right? They are short. When we get back up to there, they are not going to let it go higher because they are short. They will be adding to their positions and driving the market back. So you've got to look, and this is where propulsion gaps come into play. These are areas where hard selling has occurred. Those hard sells, if they are not out of those hard sells, they are basically going to defend those levels. So that's where we need to be looking at. But obviously double topped. Yeah, yesterday's highs, also good areas to start selling at. So just keep your eyes on all the pound pairs, and just try and look for entries to go short. Obviously, this is all assuming that the government isn't going to come out and flip on this, or come out with something that is going to rally the market. You know, got to give us some explanation as to why you've done what you've done, because at the moment the entire world thinks you're completely wrong. So unless you can come out and convince us otherwise, you know, it's like that bloke sitting in the park with the board saying, whatever, prove me wrong. Yeah, the government hasn't come out and showed us why. So yeah. But economists are also saying that the only other way is massive austerity. And do we want that? No. This, I mean, I don't think there's a way. This is the bit that what this has done has hammered it home for everybody. All of a sudden, our news channels are talking about nothing but this at the moment. This was going to happen anyway, regardless. We are heading into a recession. The pound is going to come down against the US dollar. That was a given. You know, look at. You know, it's not going up. This is pound New Zealand, but yeah, this is not a surprise, and this was not going to stop happening. We're going into a recession. We have got the worst inflation in the world. This is not going up anytime soon. What this has done has highlighted for everybody this. Now everyone's going, oh, I didn't realise that was happening. All they've been doing is getting poorer and poorer and poorer and going, hang on, why have we been getting poorer? Because the pound's coming down against the US dollar. Have you not noticed that? Obviously, I look at this thing on a daily basis and have done for 13 years. I know that. No one else does, but now everybody does, because this has hit the news, because this is what we were expecting to happen over the next 3 to 6 months. It just happened over 48 hours. That's why it's come to everybody's attention. So, but yeah, anyway. Euro odd. Short. I'm shorting euro still. Australian dollar's massively weak at the moment. So where we are right now, if we get any kind of bearish price action today, that's your signal to get in. So I'm just looking at DAX, one sec. Well, cancel. I'm going to move out. Sorry. Hit the wrong button there. I'm going to hit buy stop last. So we just taken out the low from yesterday. So if we break back above that low, I would say that's probably a fake break, false breakout. So see if we can get that entry. Yeah, euro odd. I'm short everything euro. The trouble is at the moment with the euro odd, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollars just seem to be so massively weak still. So the euro is taking advantage of that, and the New Zealand dollar at the moment. But I would be short on it. However, it's going to need something to change here. Euro obviously is still weak, but when you look at it against everything else, it's obviously weak, but it's stronger than the New Zealand dollar and the euro at the moment. So we need some stimulus from Aussie and New Zealand, really. But yeah, it's in a good spot at the moment for shorts. If you look at it on the hourly, we're just about to get extended on the hourly after this big, strong move up, following a big, strong move up. So that will break us down below this level. So this could be the start of the move. It's not extended, really. that's really the only short opportunity at the minute on it. And obviously we got in any Euro odd or Euro New Zealand's. That's the one I bailed out of, the Euro New Zealand. They're both the same, really, aren't they? It's massive, massive, massive New Zealand dollar weakness still. Nothing we can do until the New Zealand dollar perks up, unfortunately, on those. Not a good situation at the minute on the Australasian front for some reason. This area here is where we've reacted in the past. So that zone has always been an area where we've sold into this year. Could be trying to get up there. Whether the Aussie stays weak for that long, I don't know. That's a long way to go. I would hope that this level, so this level that we've got drawn in here, this has been rejected and supported multiple times. Yeah. So hopefully this reach up today is a double top. And that is where we're going to start the move back down from. We got the 200 coming down on top, look, at the moment. On the daily. So that's your kind of real strong pullback level. Weakness on the DAX again. Didn't get that order on. Market's heavy again. Real sell again, isn't it? So yeah, I would say, oops. Either you got an ADR today, so 125 ADR is the 200 moving average. That is where I'd look to get aggressive on the assumption that this is going to be a false breakout. And we're going to get that kind of movement tomorrow, or we're just going to get a pullback today from that high there. So we're sweeping liquidity here, aren't we? But this is weak Australian dollar off the back of the news, the retail figures. So, yeah, that's all you can do with that one. Just hold on at the minute if you're in short on it. But if you need to get aggressive on it, 100 to 125 ADR, that area. So getting in somewhere, anywhere here with a stop up there would be a good aggressive position. You're on your fourth up day, and it's the biggest up day so far. But look at the day like this. Look at this day here. Look at the size of that wick, and then visualize this candle getting up to somewhere like that, and then pulling back by that amount. Yeah, and ending up with that. Yeah, that would be a liquidity run. If you got an aggressive there, you'll end up somewhere around the 149, 200 level, possibly. Afternoon ladder. The chimney sweepers took longer than expected. Oh, aren't you posh having your chimney sweep? Paying for a CTI challenge with pounds. Finally looks nice, yeah. IMF don't have confidence in Truss. Kwarteng, worrying. Yeah, no, very, very worrying. The IMF don't step in for no reason. And when I say IMF, for those who don't know the IMF, it's not the Mission Impossible Force. You're not going to have Tom Cruise suddenly flying in and taking out Liz Truss. International Monetary Fund. Impossible Mission Force. German GfK consumer confidence minus 42. Yeah, whoops. They're not happy, are they? Wanting Neo? Right, let's do some analysis. We just had Euro. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. Euro odd. There we go. As we're talking about it, look, Euro odd's just hit ADR. Wrong button. So we've got an ADR hit on Euro odd. So potentially a good spot to start looking for shorts. If you're aggressive or not. Might have a go on that, you know. I've got a feel. Do you know? I just got a feeling this is. If we get some movement on, if you look at what happens with the news on the pound, it's had very little impact, as you can imagine, on the euro. But we tend to drag the euro with us. We're very close trade partners, and the fact that the pound is dropping so much, I would expect weakness to start coming through on the euro, because the transactions that we do and the value of our currency has an impact on them because we're such big trade partners. This thing should start weakening soon. This is just the Australian dollar, and at some point the Australian dollar is going to stop being weak off the back of that news, and we're going to see the real euro. So I kind of like this for a short opportunity. But as I said, if I was going to take something like this, be looking at something like a 50 pip stop on it, half an ADR stop, just over, or just under rather. And then sky's the limit to the downside. So it's a lovely swing opportunity from up here. It's coming off of ADR nicely. I might take one on that. Sorry, what's that? Pound odd there, pound US there. So I'm just doing all this on my funded account. $500. Stop. Just 500 target. Sell. Okay, so I've just gone short Euro odd, where we are. At the moment, stops at 150, 400 basically. So stop is there, just above 125 ADR. So those are those levels that we looked at. So above that sort of area where we're potentially going to start turning from. So quite like it up here. If it pushes up above 125 ADR, obviously there's something fundamentally wrong with the Aussie still, or the euro is basically powering up for some reason. But we've got Euro CAD's just put in a nice tail. The upside. Euro Swissies looking heavy, it's pulled into that propulsion gap. Euro pound is going to go up at some point. Euro yen's looking heavy, very good wicks over the last 20 minutes on the euro yen. Good bearish movement. So it looks good. Looks good for a short. Euro's weak across the board. But obviously we need the Aussie to stop being quite so weak. Hopefully we will have that happen, because obviously they will start manipulating other currencies now the London market's open, so they'll take the focus off the euro and potentially everything else will start to move. So short opportunity there. If you want to wait for the reversal alert, obviously you've only got to wait another 10 pips to be, obviously, if you're going to do it properly, unlike me, wait for that. I think this latest Italian vote will affect the euro. No. Is it Italian? What is it? Italian? I don't know what that is. Lagarde's coming out being bearish as well, so we might get the euro collapsing actually shortly. Look forward guidance. So yeah, just remember, yeah, 8:15 she started talking, didn't she? Continue to rate hike. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know what the what that is with the Italian, but anything, if it's anything to do with government elections, it doesn't affect monetary policy. Do you see any point for shorting Aussie New Zealand? No. Aussie New Zealand's a long. I mean, you can short it. It's, I mean, obviously, the short was this morning on the spike on the news, but you couldn't have got into it because it was too fast. So, I mean, you could have got into it, obviously, if you were watching it. But it was a very, very, very quick move. That was obviously the mother of all sell signals. But from a long-term perspective, no. Aussie New Zealand is a long. I took the long yesterday on it, so I longed it from down here yesterday, and I got out there. I posted it in the Telegram group. I got out there. I got in there with 2 positions, and I took one off there, and I took the second one off there. It's an ADR reversal, so I was only looking for a quarter to a half an ADR, which I got, and I was out. I was out on the, you know, this is what I say. When you're watching things, I keep saying this, when you watch things on low time frames, that is why I got out. Was it the right thing to do? No, totally the wrong thing to do. But if you watch it on a low time frame, you will get scared and you will get out. If I'd have been watching this on an hourly time frame yesterday, yeah, I was in down here. Yeah, we got inside bars. Absolutely no reason whatsoever for me to get out of that trade. Bull, bull, inside bar, inside bar, inside bar. There's a doji there. You can't see it, but there's an inside bar. Inside bar, inside bar, inside bar, inside bar, break. Yeah. This is the difference between time frames. That's what I keep saying. This is why we use 2 time frames. We use multi-time frame analysis. Take trades on the hourly and enter on M5. Take trades on the 4 hour, enter on M15. But you are monitoring and watching there. This, to be fair to me, was an ADR reversal yesterday, and ADR reversals are scalped. So yes, on scalps you watch on the same time frame. But just proving the point, you know, that's why I got out. I posted in the Telegram group, I'm getting out because the bears are stepping in. Actually, no, that's not where I got out, was it? That's where I got out because I posted that in. That's where I got out. So yeah, anyway. But yeah, shorts, no, personally. Just because, I mean, if you know, scale out, I've shown, you know, I show this one every day virtually. Not interested in shorting it because the danger with shorting is this. You know, this is look at where we are here, distance away from the moving average. Look at where we were here, distance away from the moving average. Look at what we got. Yeah, we did in that case get a pullback before a push, but there's every opportunity for it to do that. So I don't want to be short. I want to, if it wants to pull back, fine, that's where I'm getting in long. Because the Aussie's still going to be stronger than New Zealand. Bigger economy, bigger everything at the moment. Everything's working. Just got into a long, oh no, that's my pound US dollar. Way too many charts open. So DAX is just pushing, just sort of stabilizing down here at the minute. I'm going to cancel these pendings, don't like this. I'm not concentrating on it, so I'm not going to get involved at the moment. Right, so ADRs we've covered, weeklies and monthlies we can forget about. Euro, the RSIs, there's quite a lot of RSIs sorry. Italy voted in far-right candidate who wants out of the EU. Oh, yes, I did see about that. There's a woman, isn't it? If that, yeah, I mean, her getting into power, I don't think is going to affect anything. If she suddenly starts a campaign to extract Italy from the EU, yes, but look how long our campaign in the UK took. What was it? X number of, I don't know how many years it was, we were talking about it, then we did a vote on it, then we waited for the answer, and then it took years for us to get out. So it's not a fast thing. But yeah, if Italy leaves the EU, obviously, and after Britain has left the EU, it doesn't bode well for the EU, does it? Which isn't going to bode well for the euro. Especially, I mean, the difference between Italy and us leaving the EU is that we had our own currency when we left the EU. Italy uses euros. So they will be removing X amount from the euro pot, won't they? Because they will go back to the Italian, was it lira, Italy? Can't remember. Was it Italian lira? So long ago. I don't think I went to Italy before they joined the euro. So yeah, but that's a long way off. But yeah, if she starts a proper campaign for a vote to leave the euro, then yeah, that probably will have an impact. RSIs, for those that are still position trading at the moment, we've got quite a few. Aussie yen has hit the downside on the 4 hour. Obviously, you know my feelings on the yen at the moment. Don't do anything on this until Friday. And I would see this potentially hitting 10. You can see what the market's anticipating happening. A lot of people, there's a guy that I've not so much follow, but that I look at every now and again, who trades not market structure, trades price action patterns. He's buying up the Aussie yen down here based on that. Yeah. Not quite sure how he's missed the fundamental of Japan intervening in their currency, but he has. So the last thing that this should do is that on Friday. More likely, it should just do that, and we've come down and test this area. Look at the pound, that sort of movement. But we don't know what they're going to say, so it may not happen. But at the moment, I'm steering clear of the yen. So any RSI extensions on anything yen, you know, I'm looking to short this at the moment based on the rumor of the intervention, which we're going to find about on Friday and actually being executed over the next month or so. That's what I want to be doing. So I'll be looking for pullbacks to short it. I'm not going to jump in down here at the moment. We're massively extended, obviously. And if they come out and say our intervention is really, really weak, then the market might not actually want to buy the yen. So it's a little bit of a pinch of salt at the minute with it, but not looking for longs on anything yen based. Aussie dollar, US dollar's massively strong, as you can see. Yes, it's very, very, very exhausted, but it has been very, very exhausted for quite some time. So yeah, again, US dollar really strong. No reason why it shouldn't remain strong. Aussie dollar massively weak. I think we will get some neutrality off of the Aussie, but if it's not at a time when the US dollar is weak, then this thing's just going to keep coming down. So very, very, very extended. Good scalp opportunities. So anything, if we get any ADR hits to the downside on it, you know, and if we, you know, with these ADRs, obviously, you don't get in until you see signs of bullishness. So if this thing pushes down and sort of does that and then pushes down to 125 and then pushes down and then we get a move up, I would be happy to take that with a stop, because we are unbelievably extended down here, aren't we? I mean, we are shot. And what you're likely to see is that. Yeah. So if we get down to 125 down here somewhere, yeah, 100, 125, that's what I'd be playing. See if we can get in on one of those. 1 4-hour candle. So get in for a session, get out at the end of the session. Exactly what I did with the Aussie New Zealand yesterday. Exactly the same play, basically. Yeah. I got in down here and I was looking for that. And that's what I took. I got out here somewhere. I got in down here. We're not extended down here, but that's the same play on an ADR. That's all you're looking for on an ADR, is you're looking for that that short move, quarter to a half an ADR move in your favor, get out. It's a scalp. So from a RSI extension perspective, no, not interested in longing it from a position trading point of view. But these aren't just for position trading. These mean that is extended. When you've got something extended, there's always going to be that resistance. People are going to want to take profit because there's a lot of people short that will be taking profit. If that big profit take move doesn't happen, fine. But you'll get something. You always get something. And that's what you can take advantage of. So anything extended on RSI and you get an ADR hit as well, good little opportunity for a scalp. 50 pips, 40 pips. Just take little bits and pieces out of them. Dixie, that's Euro US dollar, upside down. Dixie's very strong. We know that. We can see that because everything's coming down against the US dollar. Euro yen, also very, very, very extended. We got that big extension down here. Off the back of obviously the yen news. The euro came down a lot harder than most, as with the Swissy as well, because the Swissy was moving at the same time. That moved massively. Like it as a short, so not looking to long it down here. I'd really like to get into a yen. What I was hoping for with all of these yens, and I haven't found one, is that one would pull back into an area that I could get in. Pound yen kind of has, but the rest of them didn't quite get to where I wanted them to get to, and obviously we're collapsing again. So nothing managed to get anywhere near where that move happened. They didn't get back into that area. So the market has made its mind up. The yen is along. So trying to find an area to get in is going to be difficult. So again, moving back to hourly time frames, and you might want to shift your RSIs on these now back down to 14s on the hourly to try and get into some pullback. But difficult. And this is kind of what I'm testing, well, was testing, and I got sidetracked and didn't manage to get anything done yesterday. But yeah, none of these yens basically have given any opportunity for pullback. So euro yen massively extended. Obviously all the other yens are of a similar ilk at the moment. Euro US dollar, obviously the Dixie upside down, massively extended. So the US dollar is very, 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 very strong at the moment. Big extension, and I'm expecting strong US dollar and weak euro. So again, not looking for a long, I am looking for a short, but need to get a pullback on it. But equally, if you want to take a counter trend mean reversion, do it. But anything counter trend mean reversion, if you're going to position trade counter trend mean reversions, you've got, you can do it, but limit yourself. Say I'll take 3 tries. If after 3 tries it hasn't worked, I'm going to scrap that top one and get out, take a loss on it. You've got to be tough with yourself on these mean reversions that are counter trend, because the trends are just so strong at the moment. Just not worth taking. Better off scalping short on these sorts of things at the minute. New Zealand dollar CAD. Again, extended. Massive weakness on the New Zealand dollar. Canadian being dragged along with the US at the moment. It's a short. We had an ADR hit on that one this morning. It's already played out. But again, not really an opportunity to get into it because of the strength of the move, because it was a news move rather than just a normal price action. You couldn't really get in unless you were playing price action, in which case we saw that on the Aussie New Zealand, didn't we? The Aussie New Zealand had that lovely big shooting star long tail. Same here. So that's what you would have taken. But yeah, no opportunities to get in on that one. New Zealand dollar Swiss, same thing, same as the euro. Basically, just the Swiss is just off the charts basically at the minute, up and down all over the place, and the New Zealand dollar is weak as you like. So every time we get that weakness on the Swiss franc, it's going to drive everything the opposite direction. But the Swiss franc is still a strong currency. That was a complete knee-jerk reaction and it completely got undone. So yeah, shorts. That was a lovely short. Just couldn't take it because it was a news event. But if it had done that a little bit slower, I'd have taken something like that, but didn't. New Zealand dollar Swiss. New Zealand dollar yen, again, massively down. We've got support being hit there. No, that's from another chart. So yeah, down, not looking to get in long. You know, that's where you got an RSI extension. This is why it's so important to have these fundamentals on your side. You know, that point we thought, didn't we? The yen was a short, and then it pulled back down, and then we got the news that they're going to intervene, and nothing you can do about it. You've got to skip out of those positions when they happen. New Zealand dollar yen, New Zealand dollar US dollar, same thing. Not interested in longs. I'm interested in shorts, trying to find somewhere to short this. You've got that accumulation there, which will potentially act as resistance. You've got that accumulation there, which potentially will act as resistance. You've even got that there. You know, it could just accumulate and drop from there. Failing that. Yeah, so at some point, moving forward in time, we're going to pull back, or we're going to accumulate to the 24. That's when I'm interested. At the moment, I'm not. I'm just waiting for this to get back up there. Always the way, if you get in now, this will be the point it pulls back and stops you out. It may not. It may just carry on like that. But, you know, it's very, very difficult to jump in a trend when it's that extended. And it's also very hard to mean revert against something that's moving that fast. So, these sorts of pairs, you just can't trade them. They're parabolic to the downside. Once you've identified a parabolic move, it's too late because you've seen it happen. That's the point when the elastic band is so stretched, you normally get the ping back. But at the moment, what we're likely to get is a flag, and you can't make money longing a flag. You're better off trying to short that flag at some point. And I'd much rather go into drawdown in line with that than I would try and long and end up my long turning into a flag, never getting out of it, and then either getting stopped out or going into drawdown. It's not worth it. Just wait, be patient, wait. If there's no trades, if there's no trade opportunities coming up because this thing just does that, I'm not going to trade it. I'm not going to get in just because for the sake of wanting to get into something. I'm going to get in when something's in a decent area that I think we've got a chance at making money out of. There's no point in flipping a coin and going, I reckon this might be where the elastic band snaps. It might be, might not be. If it isn't, you're just going to lose money, aren't you? Not worth it. New Zealand dollar, US dollar CAD, same thing. Parabolic, can't get on. You could take a 8-hour pullback, 4-hour pullback. It's just hard, very, very hard to get in on these. When you're looking at the 4-hour, if you're looking at the hourly, you can kind of see. But even now, we see these pullbacks, you see these pushes, and you can't. It's just so hard to get in on these. They're not pulling back far enough. Even on a fib, you're not getting a big enough pullback really on anything to get into any opportunities. Putting back into the support rectangle nicely there, bouncing, lovely tweezer bottoms. So the signals are there, but these are price action signals. They're different things. So I'm not interested in this one at the moment. I want to long it, but I want to long it. I can't even find somewhere I want to long it from. I want to long it from there. I want to long it from somewhere. Ideally there or there is where I would love to long it from, if it could get down there. If we could get that elevator shaft coming in down to these levels, that's where I'd be interested. But not up here. It's just not, I'm not short in that. US dollar CAD and US dollar Swiss. So very, very few opportunities out there. Again, everything is going parabolic. That's really nice M pattern formation there. On the hourly, okay, so we got the weak US dollar seemingly coming in this morning, which will be bolstering the indices. So potentially that update, yeah, we got rejection going on the DAX as well. So potentially with that US dollar weakness we've got, why is that weak? Nothing I can see there. That makes you laugh, doesn't it? ECB's reign. ECB needs the wording that they use gives the market no confidence whatsoever. That is not that. That's what they've been doing, and it hasn't worked. That is not a significant rate hike. The Bank of England are talking about 2%. That is a significant rate hike. 50 is what you need to do as a bare minimum if you want to survive for the next couple of years. When they talk about, the wording they use is like, we're going to do a significant rate hike 50, and the market's going to go, what? That's not going to cut it. Sell the euro. Nothing comes out. Lagarde and that lot are just living on another planet at the moment. You've got one of the largest countries possibly talking about leaving as well. Buy. Don't buy the euro, for God's sake. Anyway, so yeah, I can't see any reason for that fundamentally. So this is just price action. This is just some profit-taking moves going on at the moment by the looks of things. We've got a pretty strong Swiss franc. No strength in the euro. So this looks like strong Swiss franc at the moment by the looks of things. So that US dollar Swiss move is actually a little bit of weakness on the US dollar and a lot of strength on the Swissy. So that's the perfect storm at the moment. But it is weak at the moment. But obviously, this is only an hourly candle. So this is just the start potentially of a move to the downside, which would indicate long on the indices. So yeah, mixed bag again today. Very, very difficult to pick. Has anybody got anything specific they want to have a look at pairs-wise? See what's going on with our friends in the pound. No movement. I think we're probably going to get a similar day. I think until we get some news coming out, I think we're going to be in a holding pattern here. The market's not going to be interested in anything really until we know what's going on. So sideways for the pound, unless they start a selling frenzy, which is on the cards. They could well, it only takes one bank to dump this below these lows. And if we're going to get a weak US dollar, that's going to push the pound back up into here. So again, that's what I think we're going to get today, unfortunately. Not going to make any money on the pound US. But anybody got anything else they want to look at? I've kind of flitted through everything, but there's no, I say I'm not position trading at the moment. I'm looking for short-term opportunities. So ADRs to scalp in line with trend, which is why I've taken that Euro odd. No, I haven't. What did I take? Yeah, Euro odd short. So I've taken a Euro odd short this morning. Up there, which is nicely in profit now. Just got the reversal out on that as well. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking for. Short-term opportunities. So ADRs, keeping my eye on the ADR dash. Anything that hits ADR, I'll be looking at those for opportunities to get in. I'm watching hourlies as well. For opportunities to get in on hourly extensions at the moment. But what I find as well with this dash, with the hourly dash, when you get the decent hourly extensions, you find that you get an ADR alert anyway, a lot of the time. Because obviously for an ADR hit to happen, price has to move fairly quickly within a short period of time. And that's when you tend to get your hourly RSIs hit. So if it's taking off anywhere from sort of 50 odd midline, 50, 40, 60 area, if it's taking off from there, usually within an hour, you're going to get an RSI extension on it anyway. So these are all worth looking at. Aussie CAD. Again, look, you didn't get the RSI hit on it, the ADR hit on it, but that, you've had a good 6 hour movement down, which has taken us back down into extension again, popped straight off. So these are all great to look at, the hourlies at the moment, M5s, but just like scalp opportunities. Aussie yen, not interested in longing it. Aussie US, again, not really interested in longing that either. But from a scalp perspective, as I say, and counter trend scalps, no problem, is it? Because scalps are only in for an hour or so. New Zealand yen, New Zealand US. Yeah, everything we're getting extended is all these parabolics, which you're going to get, you know, you need, it's all you need. 1 4-hour candle in a scalp, one session, basically, isn't it? We're getting in a session, we're getting out middle of the next session or something, that's it, or by end of day. Those are the things to look for at the minute. That's basically what I'm doing on the funded at the minute. It's just scalping short time frame. Got a nice little DAX long that I've just taken. Why does my DAX chart look so different today? I'm in there. Yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Has anybody got anything else you want to look at? Anything else they want to discuss? Anything system-wise, strategy-wise? Anything? Anybody got any jokes? There's not a lot to talk about in the market at the moment. It's just too unstable to do anything but scalp, in my opinion. So I can't really talk about much else at the minute. Stay down low and take tight reversal alerts. Best thing you can do, I think, at the minute. Tomorrow, news-wise, as I say, we've got the CAD GDP figures at 1:30. We've got nothing today and nothing much else tomorrow. We've got oil speaking this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon as well. So CAD, if you've got anything CAD on, you've got potential movement tomorrow off the back of that. Oil, we haven't looked at. I'm just going to have a look at oil. Apart from that, the rest of the week, you know, this week is fundamentals don't come into the equation this week. It's all about what's going on with the pound and the yen. So it's too risky. Last week was too risky because of the amount of interest rates. This week's too risky because there's utter chaos in the markets and confusion. So hopefully next week, fingers crossed, we'll know what the hell's going on with everything and I can get back into some positions. Do you take entries in live? Well, I've just told you what to look for. Yes, I've just taken a short this morning in the Euro odd. I do take entries in live, but I position trade. So the vast majority of the time, scalping is for me just as and when situations come up. So if they come up, they'll come. I'll take them. If they don't, they don't. Oil is pushing up a bit. Yeah. So oil. You know, yesterday I said about oil. I'm confused about oil. This is where I'm looking to buy oil. This is where I have to rephrase that. This is where I'm looking to get interested in oil again. If we can get down there, I want this thing to be extremely extended and very, 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 very cheap to the point where the Saudis and OPEC step in. Intervention from the manufacturers, basically. Yeah, as Giarmon's just said, it's YouTube. You can rewind. Yeah, but I'm not a signal service if that's what you're asking. Miss, I can't pronounce your name. Marunal? Runal? No, I'm not a signal channel. No, I teach people to trade. And I do analysis on the market, so I don't give you signals. If I got run over by a bus and you relied on me to make you money, you would be bankrupt tomorrow. I'm not planning on getting run over by a bus because I hardly ever leave the house because I'm sitting in front of charts 24 hours a day. But anyway, don't follow signals. They don't work. But yeah, oil, we've got a little bit of a reprieve at the moment on oil. But if you look at it from a long-term perspective, this is what we were looking to hold. It did. We made lots of money. Great. Then we broke down through there, and we are hugging the 24. So we are hugging the downtrend at the minute. We have to look at, when we're in a trend, where's this trend likely to end? Where are we likely to meet support? There's many areas down here you could pick that have acted as very nice support resistance areas in the past, and they start down here. So this is really where I think, if we're going to continue this downtrend, oil's going to get to. If we get down to $60 to $70 a barrel, it's incredibly cheap. And I don't think the oil producers will want to maintain prices at that level. I think they will need to push it up from there, especially with what's going on with Russia bombing the Nord Stream gas pipeline. Sorry, did I say that? It was funny. I have to show the news on that if I can find it. I probably won't be able to find it now. But when they were talking about the leak in the Nord Stream pipeline, was that yesterday evening? So it was earlier than that. Yeah, we see the leaks in the Nord Stream as deliberate action. I can't remember the exact wording they said, but what they said was, this isn't a gas leak. This is a whacking great hole in the pipeline. Whacking great holes do not appear in pipelines, but torpedoes from nuclear submarines that may be off everybody's radar, owned by a certain country invading another country at the moment, do make whacking great holes in pipelines. And they use those pipelines to supply. And if that supply is constricted, what happens to prices? It goes up. It's not hard, is it, to figure out that somebody's been sabotaging a pipeline supplying gas to Europe. And not many people on the radar that might have done that, is there, at the moment? Anyway, so this is oil, obviously. It's not gas, but it is all linked. I just get the feeling with the way that things are going at the moment, if we were to get down to this zone, it will be very similar to where we were previously, where we were buying the hell out of it for weeks on end, making loads of money. We will get into an accumulation down here. We'll find an area of balance where we're not happy to let price go below. And when you're buying something, expecting it to reverse, if it goes into balance, that's the best thing it can do. And the longer it stays there, the more money you'll make, as we saw with oil when we were previously trading it, because you are buying the lows all the time, getting out up there. Every time it puts down, you go, I'm still long, I'm still long, I'm still long. If that does that 20 times, there's 20 trades you're going to make money on. When it finally goes, you jump on board that trend. So we're just trying to find where this trend's going to end. And the best thing you can do is accumulate for a couple of weeks. That'd be lovely. That's when I'll be interested. This area is an area of interest for me, to start looking at that. There are other areas, obviously, it could drop, it could stop at, but we're only looking at roughly 2.5 to 3 ADR move. So next week, we could find ourselves sitting down here. But equally, there could be intervention from OPEC before that. But where we are, we've broken the $80 a barrel magic number. So, you see here, 2 or 3 days we could be there, couldn't we? Really. It only takes some fundamental news event to cause something like that. We're down in this zone. That's when I'm going to start looking to get long. But until then, you just have to say this thing's trending down, and there doesn't seem to be any support that's holding it. So, but it is pushing up a bit at the minute. Nice 3-bar reversal on M15 there at support. So could get that bounce. But, the bounces are very, very weak. Yeah, that's all we're getting. We're bouncing up into propulsion gaps, and then we're getting shot back down again. So got propulsion gap there. We could retest that area at ADR, but I would suspect we're more likely to retest that high there and then drop. So difficult. Not really interested in it until we get to an area of interest. Shout, can I repeat everything I said, please? I missed it all. Yes, no problem. Let me start at the beginning. I'm going to be ending soon, so you can go and watch the replay. Talk through some mindset traits, i.e. keep trading after losing period. I don't really have a mindset trait. There's so many psychological things. The thing with psychology, I find, is that everybody's got a different one. And there is no, I've done quite a few psychology courses, which try and teach you to have a trader's mindset. The problem is they cover everything that might go wrong. You don't know what's going wrong until you know what's going wrong. And to me, the biggest psychological barrier you need to get over is what your weak points are. To be able to do that, you've got to identify your weak points. Diamond has said many times he's got a set of rules now, which are to stop those things that keep going wrong. Short-term memory loss. Yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, you've got to identify what your weak points are. And the only way you will do that is by making the same mistake multiple times. And when you know that you have made that mistake multiple times, that is part of the thing that you've got to get over. So if you get out too soon and you notice that every time you get out too soon, you're right, that is a psychological problem. It's a positive because you're getting out, which means you're getting out too soon, you're getting out in profit. Yeah, so it's a good thing. But psychologically, it's wearing you down because you think you can be making more money. So you need to deal with it, but you've got to identify it. And there's all sorts of psychology courses out there and books out there. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, if you haven't read that, that deals with everything you need to know. And it's a change of mindset. But there's no, for me, I have the same problems. I still get out too soon. But my goal is to bank a percentage per day, week, month. And that's what I focus on. And I'm happy with that. So I don't really have any psychological issues, I don't think, that I need to address. Because I've found out what mine all were and I've fixed them. The main problem for me was, and it still is a problem scalping to a certain extent, is over trading. And the reason you overtrade, the core reason everybody overtrades, is because they lose. Size, exposure, spacing. There you go. That's Diamond's mantra. The 3 laws of position trading. So he identified that every time he got in too big, he lost. Every time he got overexposed on more than 2 pairs, he lost. Every time he spaced his trades out less than half an ADR, he lost. So now make sure you don't oversize, make sure you don't overexpose, and make sure you don't space too soon, too close together. That's what you need to do. You identify the problems and you put something in place to solve them. But you've got to identify the problem. And the only way you're going to do that is by sticking with a strategy for a set period of time. And that's the other problem everybody has, is they system hop. Which is why I was saying the Boocamp, if you're going to try position trading, give it a month to 6 weeks, 2 months at least. Yeah, because you have to go through a good couple of months to experience many of the emotions you're going to feel when you're position trading, which is getting in too big, overexposing yourself, and getting in too fast. And you'll get out of those positions, hopefully, the first time you do them, because the market will always let you out. As long as it's going up and down, you're always going to be able to get out. But you're going to go through pain, and you're going to go, why? And as long as you do this, and this is the other thing, you've got to ask yourself why that went wrong. When you analyze your trades and see what happened after you got into those positions, you'll see where you went wrong and where you went right. And if you do that, and that's what I say in the Bootcamp, drag your trades onto your chart every time you take every week when you finish trading. Drag all your trades onto your chart and look at them and see where you got in and where you got out. Did you get in too soon? Did you get out too soon? Did it go your way after? Did it go against you too far? Did you scale in too fast? Identify what you did and pick the plus points and the minus points. When you've got those plus points, keep doing those plus points. The minus points, if you eliminate the minus points, the plus points gets bigger. Yeah. One thing that sticks in my mind that somebody told me many, many years ago is that the way to be more profitable as a trader is not to find a better strategy. It's not to trade larger lot size. It's not to hold on to your winners longer, because psychologically that's very difficult to do. The way to make more money in trading is to eliminate the things that lose you money. Yeah. The one thing I identified that lost me money was a stop loss. Yeah. Sounds ridiculous, but every time I lost money, it was because I used a stop loss. If you don't use a stop loss, you won't lose money because you won't get stopped out. And the market, as long as you have a directional bias, will, even when it's pulling back, push up again. It's pulling back, it push up, pulling back, push up. Pulled back hard, pushed up, pulled back, pushed up, pulled back, pushed up. If you've got a long bias on this and you get in at the wrong time, you'll get stopped out, you lose money. If you've got a long bias on this and you get in at the wrong time and it pulls back down and pushes up again, you win. Yeah. That's what loses people money in the market. But you can't get in with one lot long. You get in with 0.05 long multiple times. Yeah, position trading. It removes, and again, this is all covered in the course, but it removes every psychological barrier that you have as a trader. Yeah. Everything that sends you tilt, makes you overtrade, makes you overexpose, makes you revenge trade, everything that you will ever identify psychologically that goes wrong with traders, when you start position trading, every single one of them is wiped completely off the map. And this is why you see people in the Telegram going, my God, I've been trading for a month this way. I've made 8%. I've made 5%. I've made 3%. Doesn't matter what you've made, because you haven't let the market take you out, because the market's job, as I explained many times, is to move up and down and hunt liquidity. And it moves up and down, takes out stops, takes out liquidity so that it can move the other way. If you don't put that liquidity in the market, i.e. you get short here, you don't put your stop. That's a bad example. Let's find one. There you go. You get short here. If you don't put your stop there, the market can't take it. What you do is you add another position there, because you know damn well when they've taken that, the likelihood is you're going to do that. So you add another position, and then the market does what you thought it was going to do in the first place, and you get out. It's really not difficult. But there you go. So mindset traits, I don't have any really anymore, because I've eliminated them all by not doing the thing that causes mindset problems and psychological problems, which is getting stopped out. Death by 1,000 cuts, as they call it. I don't get cut anymore. I get cut every now and again, and it's more like a machete. But, every now and again, I can put another robotic arm on and carry on going. That's a really bad analogy, isn't it? That's not right. But you know what I mean. Anyway, and that's why I don't really cover psychology, because I don't have that problem. I do when I'm scalping, and that's why I don't like scalping, because it causes me to do bad things when it's not going well. Like this morning, I've been stopped out 4 times this morning. So I'm not having a good morning scalping. My swing trades are working nicely. My Euro odd is still in profit. My pound odd and my pound US are doing all right. But so we're scalping. But you can't do that on prop. No. You can't do that on prop. You can do it on prop, but there's not many prop. CTI is about the only one you probably could do it on prop with, because they don't have a maximum time limit. All the others do. So, no. Do you have your EMAs fixed to a certain time frame? Yeah. So the 24 and 72 are only visible on a daily. Yeah. And the 24. is only visible on the daily, and the 4 hourly is the 432 and the 144 on the 4 hour. And you can see there's no 200 moving average there, whereas on the daily there is a 200 moving average. That is only appearing on the daily. And I don't use moving averages on lower time frames. So yeah, they're only fixed. They're fixed onto those time frames. Same way as my RSIs. Yeah, the RSI 14 is fixed to 4 hour and daily. The RSI 21 is fixed to hourly and below. So this one only shows on hourly 30-minute down to 1, doesn't show on 4 hour daily. And I've got in my template, I've got 2 RSIs. Yeah. And one of the RSIs shows on the daily and 4 hour. The other RSI shows on the hourly and below. There you go. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, psychology, I don't, and this is why I think this is why everybody has a problem with psychology in trading and why it's so important. It's because everybody is trying to trade tiny time frames because they want to be in and out and in and out and in and out and making money all the time. Whereas when you suddenly realize that the moves with any kind of substance that you can follow happen on, to a certain extent, the hourly, but 4 hourly and daily charts, when you start focusing on those two, everything becomes a lot clearer and a lot easier to trade. You still get in down here, but you can never time these time frames because it's chop. It's just chop. It's stop hunting. It's liquidity running. It's the banks basically wanting to do this. This is a really good example, actually. Look. Right, the banks go short. They want to go short again, but they can't find enough liquidity in the market to build up a position big enough to take themselves short. So what they do is they chop you to death. On a 4 hour chart, this is obviously over a day and a half. They chop you to death. And this is why you have these losing days on everything you do in scalping, in indices, in anything you scalp, you will have losing days. And they're chop days. They're the days where you're trying to get in short and all they do is they take it down, they come up and take a stop, and then they take it down. You go, I was right. And they come up and take a stop and they take it down and you go, oh, I'm not getting in again short. And then they take it up there and you go, brilliant, I'm getting in long. So you get in long and then they come down and they take it out. They're accumulating orders. Their job is to come and take stops. They're building a position, ready to move. And then you go, excellent, we go short. So you start getting in short and then they pull it back and you're like, I got stopped out, trying to get in short. Then they move it short after doing their next day of chop. This is why we have pause days. Manipulation to make money, pause day, pause day, pause day, pause day, pause day, manipulation to make money, pause day, pause day, pause day, pause day, pause day, manipulation to make money. Everybody's trading M5 and M15. Why do you think people have got psychological problems? Because all they're doing is giving all the money to the market all the time. And that's what we do for years, isn't it? Because everybody wants to trade these because you don't get as many opportunities up here. But when you take an opportunity there, you're going to be right 90% of the time. And that's why I trade the way I trade, because I want to be making money. I don't want to be giving it all to the market makers because that's their job. That's why they're called market makers. Their job is to make a market by manipulating up and down because they've got $20 billion, so they can dump 50 contracts long or 500 lots long at a time to move it up. And then everyone goes, whoa, everybody sees it going up, and then they move it down, then they move it up, then they move it down. All they're doing is getting ready to do that. Okay, yeah, see the wicks. Look at the size of the wicks. Doesn't matter if you're long or short on those days. Yeah. If you're buying the breakouts, they pushed it up and stopped you out. If you're fading, they will have pushed it up and stopped you out. It doesn't matter what you do. There's no strategies that work intraday in rotation days, apart from buying the highs, selling the highs and buying the lows. And on rotation days, you may get 1 or 2 opportunities to take a trade. And even them will probably do that and stop you out. So you only get 1 or 2 opportunities on a rotation day to actually make money anyway. It's the trend days you make money. Trend days, I'll make $1,000, $1,500. Chop days like today, at the moment, look at the DAX today. Chop days, it's not moved enough for me to actually get out of a trade yet. I'm long, but you know, trend day, you can't help but make money. You just literally cannot help but make money on a trend day. Yesterday I made 1175 yesterday. It's a trend day. I got in short and it went short, and I just went, oh, I'll add. And then I got out because I was too scared to hold it anymore, and it carried on going. But those are the days you make your money when you're scalping. But, you know, 4 hour, that's the wrong chart to look at, isn't it? You know, 4 hour chart, if you're position trading this, you know what you need to do. You do not take a long and you wait for pullbacks. You get in short. And if you get in short there and you get it wrong, you get in short, you get in short, you get in short, and you get out. You get in short. You know, it's just, there is no psychology involved. Are adult dating sites back again? Love them. So anyway, there you go. Do you have yes, I'll answer that one. Yeah, so for prop, basically you've got to, my prop account, I'm doing another evaluation with my Forex funds. I'm doing so many evaluations at the moment. This is all I'm doing. I'm building up a pot of funds. We're trying to, as I say, I've stopped out on, I blew my E8 evaluation. The other one I was trying. I'm doing another one on my Forex funds at the moment. Those ones, I'm basically, all I'm taking on those at the moment. I am scalping a little bit on the DAX and the NASDAQ in the afternoon, or the Dow in the afternoon. What I'm doing is ADR reversals and hourly RSI extensions, and it seems to be working pretty well, but very, very small lot sizing. So at the moment, I've got a pound US short, a pound odd short, and a euro odd short on, but they've got really big stops on. And I think that's the best way to do the props, is to look at the hourlies, look at the hourly extensions and take hourly extensions with M5 reversal alerts. You're going to get stopped out on a couple, but the one you get is the one that's going to work. And you just hold it for something like a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1. And obviously you've got a minimum 5 days. So it's not difficult to get 8% out of ADR and RSI extensions on the hourly charts, as long as you're going in line with trend, obviously. So, you know, the caveat is I would only take DAX hourly RSI extensions or hourly ADR hits short. Wouldn't take any long ones. That's the best way to pass prop, I think. Concentrate on the hourlies and the ADRs. But I'm trying it on my Forex funds at the moment. But I do take these trades anyway on my Forex funds. I take swings all the time, as well as my scalps. But obviously they take a lot longer to play out. So nice if that's pushed up massively today. I could do with a little run on that, to be honest, this morning. So we've got a nice tail forming at the moment on DAX. Broken back above previous day's high. So push down, indecision, pushing up. So this is where I'm looking to get to. This is my original plan today, remember, was to get back up into this area. So if we can break those highs, we've got low, high, higher, low. We can put a higher high in. That's where I'd be looking to buy and add. We'll see. Anywho, So if anybody's got any other questions, come in the Telegram group. I will be in there. But other than that, I'll leave you for this morning. I was going to whiz through every pair this morning, but there's not much point, to be honest. At the moment, we know the situation. There's two currencies out of play: the pound and the yen, and everything is going to change depending on what happens with those two this week. So at the minute, you really haven't got much choice but to sit and wait and see what the hell this market's going to do. So at the moment, short everything pound, short everything against the yen is kind of what my plan is, but I don't really want to execute too much until I know moving forward. So anything I'm taking is being taken with a stop at the minute. And then next week, hopefully we'll have more information on the pound and more information on the yen, and then we can start some positions when we know which bias we've got to really be using on these. So we will see. Here we go. DAX is coming down again. Look. Right, ECB's Casimir has just announced that 75 basis points is a good target for October. So remember I said about this being, significant rate hike, and then they won't mention the word 50. That has just been hammered home as a 75. So that's good. We're talking bigger numbers. I think personally 1%. They've just seen what's happened to the pound and what we're going to potentially do to our interest rate. That should be sending shockwaves through the whole world going, yeah, right, we need to get on top of this now because they've screwed it. So I think we're going to see some much bigger rate hikes coming. But it will all be data driven. So if the data doesn't say that, then they won't. But 75, I think, is definitely on the cards for October for the ECB, which will be good. That will be definitely a little bit more, potentially a little bit more bullish. But again, it's all down to what the inflation figures come out as. And obviously, until we know what the inflation figures are, we don't know whether that is even enough yet. So it's difficult, very, very difficult with the euro. But at least we know the pound at the minute. Unless Quasi comes out and says something, the pound's going down. Oh, come on. See, this is a chop day, yeah? Exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter whether you go long or you go short. Everybody that's gone long in the last 20 minutes, dead. Everybody that's gone short in the last half an hour is still short. They haven't had a move big enough to take a profit yet. Chop, 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 chop. Murder. Blood in the water. Not worth it. Wait for the New York session. They're mucking about. I have got a long on. Stops down here. It looks like I'm going to get hit at the minute by that bearish engulfing. So I'm either going to get that move or I'm not. And I'm not taking any more trades off this. This thing's been a pain this morning, so I'm not going to move it anymore. Right, I'll leave it there. Thank you for attending. I will be back tomorrow, 7:50, same time. Anything you need, I'll be in the Telegram group. Anybody that comes into the Telegram group and messages you pretending to be me, ignore them. It's not, I don't. A lot of them going on at the moment. People pretending to be me and trying to sell you stuff and then run off with your money. So don't be conned. So yeah, I will see you in the morning. Have a good day. Anything you need, let me know.